2026 has been a great year so far, and it has the potential to be greater, especially with the release of GTA 6. But what if I tell you that next year of 2027 might be just as great? In this video, I'm going to share with you the games that I've been closely following, and after this video, I'm sure you will be as excited as I am. The future of gaming is in good hands, and we can expect a lot of amazing entries. In some games, we have more information than others. In some, we even have some gameplay already. But don't worry, because I will let you know everything we know so far and what we can expect. As always, leave a like to the video and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to tell me in the comment section what games are you most excited for. I'm Yugito, let's talk about it. Hill is a realistic first-person action and survival game focused on visual body horror, cinematic immersion, environmental storytelling, and intense physical interactions. In Hill, players awaken in a research facility and are seemingly being held captive by a mysterious entity. What exactly is happening there remains unclear. What is clear is that the facility is filled with grotesque creatures and disturbing experiments. The developers behind the game, Team Cloud, have a background in film, with credits on horror projects like Until Dawn, It, Welcome to Derry, and Long Legs, bringing cinematic production values to the game. That explains everything. Hill doesn't look like an horror game, it looks like an horror movie being played in first person. Hill isn't just visually stunning, it redefines how realistic a horror game can feel. Hill is now scheduled for release in 2027 for PS5, Xbox Series and PC. Hill, it already has 1 million wishlists on Steam. A first-person horror game so brutal and realistic that Insider Gaming wrote it might be the most violent game ever made. Made by a team who know what real fear is. In 2027, prepare your stomach. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis is a complete reimagination of the original 1996 Tomb Raider, so it's not a remaster, it's a new vision, built from the ground up with 30 years of industry evolution. The game follows Lara Croft on her quest for the Cyan, through the jungles of Peru, the ruins of Greece, the deserts of Egypt, and a mystery island shrouded with myth. Each environment has been expanded with stunning visuals, an immersive soundscape, and a modernized gameplay that makes exploration, combat, and puzzles feel fresher. Crystal Dynamics studio head Scott Amos described the game as a love letter to the fans. 30 years after the original, Lara Croft returns to the beginning, more beautiful and more powerful than ever. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis is set to release on February 12, 2027 for PS5, Xbox Series and PC. Tomb Raider was born in 1996 and changed video games forever. 30 years later, Crystal Dynamics decided to go back to the beginning and rebuild everything from scratch in Unreal Engine 5. Peru, Greece, Egypt, a mysterious island. Lara Croft is more confident and acrobatic than ever. Legacy of Atlantis is not a remaster, it's a complete reimagination of the game that created one of the greatest heroines in video games history. And next year, Lara returns to her roots. Fable is an action RPG. It's the first new game in the franchise since Fable The Journey in 2012, developed by the legendary Lionhead Studios. The new trailer revealed Isabel, the game's main villain, played by the actress Hayley Atwell, the Peggy Carter from the MCU and the Mission Impossible movies. Fable brings a more nuanced morality system, many customization options, and captures the series' characteristic sense of humor. Fable launches on February 23, 2027 for PS5, Xbox Series and PC. You also have already a 30-minute gameplay demo here on YouTube to watch, to give you a small taste of what's coming. And it looks amazing. And for the looks of it, you're gonna have a unique freedom. Your decisions shape the entire game. All the NPCs will react based on your actions. You can kill everyone, date, marry, start a family, or even get a divorce. You can buy houses, make the entire population homeless, have business, and hire people. I mean, the choices are endless. Fable was dead 15 years. Lionhead Studios closed. fans lost hope, and then Playground Games, the creators of Forza Horizon, picked up the project and promised to bring Albion back. And next year, that promise will be fulfilled, with Ailey Atwell as the villain, a completely reformed morality system, and the unique British humor that only Fable can deliver. The most anticipated return of 2027, and it's on Game Pass on launch day. Metro 2039 is a direct sequel to the 2019 Metro Exodus. Set in a post-apocalyptic Moscow in the year of 2039, a world where nuclear war has devastated the Earth and forced the population to live in the underground tunnels of the metro. The surface is more deadly than ever, and new dangers lurk above and below the surface. The game is set 4 years after the events of Metro Exodus. It follows a former Metro resident known as a stranger. So yes guys, this is the first mainline game where Artyom is not the protagonist. Metro 2039 arrives on February 2027 for PS5, Xbox Series and PC. Metro 2039 was developed by a Ukrainian studio while Russia was invading their country. That alone makes this game unlike anything you've ever seen. Back in the dark and the claustrophobic tunnels of Moscow, with a narrative that carries the real weight of people fighting for survival, both inside and outside of the game. Metro has always been about hope in the darkness, and that message has never been more real than now. Resident Evil Veronica is a complete remake of the 2000 Resident Evil called Veronica. This game is one of the most beloved and appreciated by the fans, and now to finally see it in the same graphics engine that brought us Resident Evil 2, 3 and 4 remake, it's simply top notch. Fans have been waiting for this for over a decade, and now it's finally going to happen. 3 months have passed since the biological disaster in Raccoon City. Claire Redfield, having survived alongside with Leon and Cherry, travels to France in search of her brother, Chris Redfield. However, what awaits her is not a reunion with her brother, but the Umbrella Special Forces unit responsible for the incident. They capture Claire and transport her to a mysterious island. Also confirmed to return is the franchise main villain, Albert Wesker, who plays a significant role in shaping the events of the game. The project aims to be a reimagination of the original game, adapted for modern audiences and following the design philosophy established by recent remakes of the franchise. The game maintains the third-person perspective, and from what I saw, the team of Resident Evil 2 and 4 remake are the ones working on this project. Resident Evil Veronica is confirmed for 2027 for PS5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch 2 and PC. Code Veronica is the game fans have been waiting for years to have a remake. Capcom finally listened. Claire Redfield, Rockfort Island, Antarctica, Wesker, all rebuilt from the ground up in the RE engine. It's the remake that was missing. It's the Resident Evil everyone asked for, and it arrives in 2027. The first Atomic Heart was one of the biggest surprises of 2023, and Mundfish has promised that the sequel will be even bigger, crazier, and more ambitious. Atomic Heart 2 continues the alternate history setting of its predecessor, where a retrofuturistic Soviet-era aesthetic blends with dystopian science fiction themes. The narrative will explore more diverse geopolitical regions and involve more morally complex themes, including the ethics of artificial intelligence and control. The game will feature a larger RPG system that allows you to explore a world full of things to do. The combat system has been improved. Now you can fight with both hands at the same time, mixing glove powers with different melee and range weapons to create unique combinations. In the trailer, I could spot a new futuristic jet glider, a parachute, a surfboard, and the return of the grappling hook from the Atomic Heart DLC. The visual style and surreal tone that defined the first Atomic Heart remained intact, with Mundfish promising to maintain the madness that fans loved, from disturbing environments to eccentric characters. Atomic Heart 2 is confirmed for PS5, Xbox Series and PC, but for now we don't have a confirmation date or release window. My hopes it's for to be released in the fall of 2027. Atomic Heart was one of the biggest surprises of 2023, a completely crazy Soviet retrofuturistic shooter that nobody expected and everyone loved. Atomic Heart 2 promises to be all that, but bigger, crazier, more ambitious, and with the twin ballerinas back. Huge world, two-handed combat, and a narrative about AI and control that has never been more relevant. It's one of the games that I'm most excited about for 2027. Alcahest is a first-person action-adventure RPG developed by Pushon Studio, a team of 42 developers. This game is explicitly inspired by 3 games that are absolute legends of the genre: Dishonored, Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, and Kingdom Come Deliverance. In this game, you will explore the kingdom of Kadanor, where the balance of power between the 3 great houses is fragile. As the youngest son of a minor lord, you are no hero, and to become one, you'll have to prove your worth with sweat and blood. Investigating unusual goblin attacks on the country's border might be the opportunity you have been waiting for. Fast-paced melee combat in a highly interactive environment takes center stage. Use every advantage you can get: alchemical potions, daggers, relics, and more. Even a rope can become a deadly weapon in skilled hands. You can drop a tree on top of enemies, push them off a cliff, or set them on fire. The game is confirmed for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. The release date has not yet been officially announced. Alcahest is the game that Dark Messiah of Might and Magic fans have been waiting for over 20 years. Absolutely physical and creative first-person melee combat. Push enemies off cliffs, drop trees on top of them, use alchemy in ways you never imagined. It's made by a small studio with a huge vision, and it could be one of the biggest surprises of 2027. God of War Lofi is the next mainline game in the God of War series developed by Santa Monica Studio, confirmed as a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Despite the name suggesting a spin-off, Sony and game director Ariel Lawrence have confirmed that this is a complete mainline chapter in the God of War series, not a side story. This marks the first time we will play as someone other than Kratos in a God of War game. You play as Faye, Kratos' wife and Archer's mother, and for me, it looks absolutely brilliant. I really don't understand the criticism from fans. We are going to have the opportunity to have a different and unique experience. That for me is what video games are all about. Faye is a centerpiece of the 2018 God of War. The journey of Kratos is to fulfill her last wish, and now we get to experience what happened in that meantime. This game doesn't say that we are never going to play as Kratos, it's just a different and new experience with someone who was already in the series and that is an important role in Kratos' life. Lofi explores the Everywhen, the underworld of the gods, and actively fights through this divine dimension. The franchise director explicitly confirmed on social media that the game is not a prequel. The story takes place after Faye's death. Faye's fighting style appears to be faster, more agile, and more versatile compared to Kratos, featuring double jumps and sword fighting that reminds a hack and slash. We recently had a 20-minute gameplay video, which to me proved that the game is in advanced state of development. As I mentioned before, the game will be a PS5 exclusive, and my prediction is that it will release around April and May of 2027. For 2 entire games, Faye was the shadow that loomed over everything. Kratos' wife, Archer's mother, the giant warrior who died before we could meet her. God of War Lofi will finally give us her story. In Everywhen, the world of the dead gods, in an adventure that Santa Monica has confirmed is a mainline, not a spin-off, with Deborah Ann Hall of Daredevil bringing Faye to life. It's the most anticipated God of War since 2018, and for the first time, you don't play as Kratos. The next game is the one I'm most excited for. Ken Levine, the creator of BioShock, has been building this game quietly for over a decade. Ken Levine's last game was BioShock Infinite of 2013. Since then, he opened a new studio called Ghost Story Games and has been working on this project for over a decade. Judas is a FPS set in a spaceship. The player controls the mysterious and troubled Judas aboard the spaceship called Mayflower, a generation ship transporting the last remnants of humanity to Proxima Centauri. After triggering a devastating revolution aboard the ship, Judas must survive by forging or breaking alliance with the three of ship's dominant figures: Tom, that wants to preserve humanity in its current form; Nefertiti, that wants to transform humanity into a race of perfect robots; and Hope, that wants to end humanity. Judas is a single-player game focused on the narrative, with the ambitions of multiple choices and different narratives and endings based on your choices. This is the tricky part, and it's important to be honest. In 2023, the hope was the game will be released by March 2025. That date has passed. In May 2026, a reliable insider revealed that Judas was only scheduled for release between April 2027 and March 2029. Judas has been in development since at least 2014, more than a decade. As it is for now, we don't have any more information. The only thing that remains is hope. This game has the potential to be a complete masterpiece, and for now, we need to give it more time and be more patient. Let's just hope it doesn't take us more 10 years, and perhaps next year we'll be gifted. Juda's gameplay gives me a complete Bioshock vibes, and I couldn't be more excited. A spaceship city, a mysterious protagonist, 3 factions with completely opposing visions of humanity's future, and a narrative system that changes with every decision you make. It could be released in 2027, or it could be released in 2029, nobody knows. But when it's released, it will be an event. Ken Levine has never made a bad game, and this could be his best one. Until Dawn 2 is a sequel to the 2015's Until Dawn, and you don't need to have played the original to play this one. It's a completely standalone story, new cast, new setting, new nightmare. A group of ghost hunters beyond the popular paranormal YouTube channel Dead True have staged all of their content, but that changes when they are sent to the desert tropical island of Akishima for their first professional funded episode. What begins as a quiet job quickly becomes a fight for survival. The island proves to be inhabited by ancient secrets, haunted by a woman's disturbing story about something far darker than they anticipated, and internal tensions within the group don't make things any easier. The choice and consequence system returns in Until Dawn 2. Even small decisions like saving an animal or keeping a secret affair can influence the outcome of the story. Ultimately, your choices will determine who lives and who dies. The butterfly effect system returns with a new focus on how workplace drama and influencer culture impact the character's survival, a completely unique and modern addition to the formula. Peter Stormare returns as the enigmatic Dr. Alan J. Hill, alongside new talent, including Neil Newbon from Baldur's Gate 3, and also the voice of Carl Heisenberg from Resident Evil 8 Village, and Drake Montgomery from Stranger Things in one of the most exciting cast debuts. Until Dawn 2 is confirmed to be a PS5 exclusive in 2027. Until Dawn was one of the most unique horror games of 2015, and more than a decade later, Sony has finally announced the sequel. New island, new cast, new nightmare. YouTube ghost hunters on an abandoned tropical island that hides ancient and horrific secrets. The butterfly effect returns, and every decision could cost a life. The nightmare is back. The creators of Mass Effect are back, with a sci-fi RPG that promises to be the next great spiritual successor to Mass Effect. Exodus is a third-person single-player action-adventure RPG set in a new science fiction universe, 40,000 years in the future. Players take on a role of a traveler named June Aslan, a protagonist of humble origins who carries the legacy of the revered Travel dynasty. June possesses a unique connection to the technology of an ancient alien race, which is the key to saving his home world from a devastating virus. Players will fight for humanity's survival against his own evolution, and confront the effects of time dilation caused by interstellar travel. The game's most fascinating and unique mechanic is the relativistic time dilation. Traveling between stars at relativistic speeds means that while minutes pass for June, years or decades may pass for the characters left behind. Your choices about when to leave and when to return have permanent consequences on the world and the characters you meet. The combat system is based on cover with teamwork in squads. June is supported by teammates, each with special abilities. Players control strategic positioning while managing squad members. The gameplay revolves around completing missions across the galaxy. Players explore deadly planets, abandoned spaceships, and the ruins of vanished civilizations. The game was written by the lead writer of Mass Effect, and also by Peter F. Hamilton, one of the greatest science fiction authors of today. Oscar winner Matthew McConaughey is part of the cast of Exodus, in one of the most surprising and exciting collaborations between Hollywood and video games in recent years. The game is planned for release in early 2027 for PS5, Xbox Series and PC. Exodus is the game Mass Effect fans have been waiting forever, made by the original creators, starring Matthew McConaughey, featuring a completely unique time dilation mechanic, and set in a sci-fi universe 40,000 years in the future. If Mass Effect left a hole in your heart, Exodus was made specially for you, so don't miss it. Tides of Annihilation is a fantasy action-adventure inspired by Arthurian legend. London is the target of an outworld invasion that seemingly leaves the protagonist Gwendoline as the sole survivor. She then discovers the ability to command the legendary Knights of the Round Table from Arthurian myth. With this power, she sets out to save her sister, uncover the truth about her origins, and save not only London, but the fantastical kingdom of Avalon. The gameplay is definitely more like a Devil May Cry, not a Souls-like. Fast, fluid, and a spectacular combat in apocalyptic London shrouded in deadly fog. Explore fractured realities, confront colossal knights, and uncover the mysteries that bind a shattered world. Gwendoline's voice is none other than Jennifer English, the woman behind iconic voices in iconic games like Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3, and Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Tides of Annihilation is scheduled for release on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. The release date has not yet been announced. Tides of Annihilation was the game that stole the state of play from Sony in 2025, made by a Chinese studio that almost nobody knew. I have no doubt that will be one of the biggest surprises of 2027 and might be the game of the year that nobody expected. In 2027, we will be blessed with two Tomb Raider games. The first one we already discussed here, and the second one is Tomb Raider Catalyst. Unlike the other Tomb Raider announced, this one will not be a remake, but rather a new entry, the next mainline chapter in the series, set in northern India. The game will be a direct sequel to the 2008 Tomb Raider Underworld, so finally it closes a narrative cycle that has been open since 2008. Tomb Raider Catalyst takes place in northern India, years after the events of the Underworld. A mythical cataclysm has exposed ancient ruins and awakened the forces that guard them. The story follows Lara Croft as she explores the region, competing against rival treasure hunters seeking to exploit the site's power. Lara must determine who to trust to protect the ancient secret and prevent a catastrophe. The game promises to be the most ambitious and expensive adventure in the series, featuring the largest levels ever created in a completely new and absolutely stunning setting. The game is confirmed for 2027 for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. 2027 is the year of Lara Croft. Two Tomb Raider games in the same year for the first time in the series history. Legacy of Atlantis reimagines the beginning. Catalyst continues the story, and Crystal Dynamics has promised that this is the start of something much bigger. 2027 belongs to Lara. The next on this list is one of the most anticipated and tormented sequels in video game history, announced in 2019, almost cancelled, Survival, and it's finally arriving. Set after the events of the original game, The Wolf Among Us 2 returns to the dark streets of Fabletown, where fairy tale characters live hidden among humans in modern-day New York. When a brutal series of crimes threatens to fracture the fragile balance that holds Fabletown together, Bigby Wolf, the sheriff of Fabletown, finds himself drawn into a dangerous conspiracy that runs deep into the city's criminal underworld. The classic Telltale formula returns, choices with real consequences, branching dialogues, and characters that stays with you long after you finish the game. Telltale also announced that The Wolf Among Us Remastered will launch during the 2026 holiday season, the perfect appetizer for the sequel in 2027. The Wolf Among Us 2 is confirmed for 2027 for PS5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC. Telltale almost went out of business. The project was almost cancelled, and for years, silence. And then, at the 2026 Summer Game Fest, Bigby Wolf returned, 13 years after the original. The story of Fabletown continues. Noir New York, fairy tales in the criminal underworld, and the impossible choices that only Telltale knows how to make. One of the longest waits in video games history. And finally, 2027 will be even more epic. 1666 Amsterdam is a narrative action-adventure game developed by the original creator of Assassin's Creed. The game follows a mysterious protagonist named Noah, who uses her witch powers to unravel a grand conspiracy, being able to transform into animals like cats, rats, and crows to navigate the dangerous world. The game features a story that spans 3 different time periods: 1666, 1999, and the present. The game places players in a dark fantasy Amsterdam ruled by witchcraft, detective work, and occult entities, with a backdrop of witch hunts that is simultaneously historical and supernatural. The game is confirmed for 2027 for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. A free 30-minute prologue is available now on Steam and Epic Games Store. You can play it today and get a taste of what's to come. The creator of Assassin's Creed had his most personal game cancelled by Ubisoft itself and spent years fighting legally to get it back. 1666 Amsterdam is that game. 17th century Amsterdam, witch hunts, a protagonist who transforms into crows and rats, and a conspiracy that spans 3 different eras. It's a lifelong project finally seeing the light of day, one of the most extraordinary stories in the industry, and one of the most unique games of 2027. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra is a single-player action-adventure game where players control a set of 4 characters. The game follows Captain America and Azuri, the Black Panther of the 1940s, who must overcome their differences and form an unlikely alliance to confront the common enemy. The creator of Uncharted is behind this game. Amy Hennig, one of the greatest writers and directors in video game history, is returning, and the game promises to be amazing. The game is confirmed for PS5, Xbox Series and PC. But there's no confirmed date or release window. The game was announced in 2021, and since then, almost total silence. 2 trailers in 5 years, delayed from 2025 to 2026 and now to 2027. But the game exists, it's playable, and it has Amy Hennig, the creator of Uncharted, behind it. Captain America and Black Panther from the 1940s in World War II against Hydra. It's a single player without live service and microtransactions. It's the project of one of the best writers in the industry. The wait may be long, but when it arrives, it will be worth every second. John Wick was announced during Sony's State of Play in February 2026. It's a AAA title built for current generation hardware, aiming to deliver an authentic John Wick experience. The project puts players directly into the role of John Wick. The story takes place within the established John Wick timeline, years before the events surrounding the impossible task. It expands the franchise lore with a mix of familiar faces and new faces created specifically for the game. The director of the movies and Keanu Reeves himself are both involved in this project. The game will be a single-player experience in third person, full of adrenaline-fueled combat, intense driving experience, unique camera angles, and environments teeming with improvised weapons to use in combat. The game is confirmed for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. We don't have any more information as it stands for now. My hopes is that we are going to have more details next year and perhaps a release date scheduled for the end of the year of 2027. John Wick grossed over $1 billion at the box office and will finally get a AAA game it deserves, with Keanu Reeves personally reprising the role and the director of the movies also involved in the project. It's the game John Wick fans have been waiting for years, and when that symbol appeared at the end of a trailer, everyone knew Baba Yaga is back, and all he needs is a pencil. If you love dinosaurs, this game is for you. You are not the predator, nor the hero. You are the prey, and dinosaurs are not monsters. They are wild animals that see you as food. The Lost Wild is a cinematic survival horror game developed by a studio of over 25 people, founded around a shared passion for dinosaurs and survival horror, with The Lost Wild as their debut title. The game follows Saskia, an investigative reporter who wakes up in a mysterious island populated by dinosaurs, and must navigate through abandoned research facilities in the middle of nature to find a way out. The Lost Wild is a survival horror built on 3 pillars: observation, instinct, and containment. See where a dinosaur is looking before you move. Remain completely still when something taller than the building you are hiding in passes by. Know when not to run. The Lost Wild seems to reject the usual power curve. Many survival games start out scary and then become resource management with bigger guns. This game seems to keep the player vulnerable. You can distract, intimidate, or run, but you don't become the ultimate predator on the island. The Lost Wild is confirmed for 2027 for PS5 and PC. The Lost Wild is the dinosaur game we have always wanted, but no one has done it right. Made by a studio of 25 people, passionate about dinosaurs, and published by Annapurna Interactive, the same team behind Outer Wilds. Dinosaurs behave like real animals, with instincts and sharp intelligence, and you are just the prey. This time, the dinosaurs win. Crossfire is a third-person shooter developed by That's No Moon, a Los Angeles-based studio with veterans from Uncharted, The Last of Us, and Call of Duty, with a budget of 100 million. The game is exclusively single-player and set in the Crossfire universe. The story follows two opposing mercenaries, Lila Kassam, played by Claudio Dumit, and Delroy Cross, played by Ricky Whittle, who must reluctantly work together to combat a deadly threat. Lila serves as the playable protagonist, while Delroy can distract enemies, draw fire, and perform finishing moves. The game promises to change not only how this game is played, but how all stealth action games will be played in the future. The character assumes natural positions after taking cover in a way that makes sense and feels organic. Players have access to various weapons and advanced gadgets, such as an invisibility cloak. The game is confirmed for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC, and my hopes is it should be released in the next year of 2027, mainly because the studio opened up in 2021, so that would make 5 years of development, which is a normal development cycle time for these modern AAA games. Crossfire was announced at the Summer Game Fest 2026 by a studio that has never released a single game, but as the creators of Uncharted, The Last of Us, and the Call of Duty Modern Warfare in its ranks, with $100 million invested, two enemy mercenaries forced to work together, a stealth system that promised to revolutionize the genre, and a narrative with real cinematic weight. It's the most ambitious shooter announced in 2026, and it could be one of the biggest surprises of 2027. Spyro is back, and I couldn't be more excited. Almost 20 years without an original Spyro game. The creators of the Reignited trilogy are back, and this time with a completely new game. Tom Kenny, the original voice of Spyro since 1999, is returning. Spyro A Realm Beyond is the 12th game in the Spyro the Dragon series. When Spyro finds himself lost, his journey to discover how to get home is interrupted by the arrival of an invading force known as the Scavs. Spyro must make new allies to protect this realm before it's destroyed forever. The game is described as a completely original adventure with a new world, expanded exploration, and a new gameplay that evolves the classic experience in exciting ways, built to welcome a new generation while offering something entirely new to longtime fans. Spyro A Realm Beyond launches on spring 2027 for PS5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC, and by the way, it's on Game Pass on launch day. Spyro has been dormant for almost 20 years, and the creators of the Reignited trilogy decided to wake him up in the best way possible, a completely original game, built in Unreal Engine 5, and the original voice of Spyro back. It's the Spyro fans have always wanted. The Purple Dragon is back, and that has never been so free. This is the next big open-world RPG coming out of China, following the monumental success of Black Myth: Wukong, and it looks absolutely epic. Long ago, the gods harvest Ki from each life to preserve immortality. When humans learned to use Ki as Elemencers, the gods attacked the powerful Zhu Kingdom overnight, killing the king and hunting down the Elemencers. History calls this the Godfall. Shang lost his family in the Godfall. To overthrow the gods' domination, you must decipher lost scrolls, train with elemental masters, and refine the flow of Ki until you can challenge the divine. The combat revolves around the chemistry of the 5 elements. Fire consumes wood, water extinguishes fire, earth blocks, metal pierces, and wood fuels fire. The game rewards chaining reactions, igniting oil, freezing steam, or using earthen walls to redirect lightning, while respecting stamina and Ki management. The game blends elemental martial arts, myth-inspired storytelling, and stylish action, maintaining its own identity rooted in Eastern fantasy, Ki-based powers, and battles against colossal celestials. A story spanning over 40 hours with crucial choices that shape Zhu's destiny. The game is confirmed for 2027 for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Black Myth: Wukong proved that China can make games on par with the best in the world. The God Slayer aims to be the next, an open-world RPG with a 5-element system that creates unique chain reactions, an oriental fantasy setting mixed with industrial revolution unlike any other game, and a 40-hour story about mortals who decide to kill their gods. It's one of the biggest bets of 2027, and could be one of the biggest surprises of the year. Clutch is an open-world racing game developed and published by Maverick Games, the studio founded by former Forza Horizon creative director Mike Brown, built on a custom version of Unreal Engine 5 in development for the last 3.5 years. The game follows two brothers, Theo and Kes Martial, competing against rival racers both on the famous R1K professional circuit and in the underground racing club known as a Midnight Collective. Clutch is set in Monaco and the French Riviera, one of the most stunning and unique settings ever chosen for a racing game. The game combines professional circuit racing with underground street racing within a living open world. Players compete for rewards and reputation, while dealing with rival teams, shifting alliances, and escalating chases in a shared world. The studio promises a mix of handcraft events and spontaneous encounters designed to create unscripted moments and stories created by the players themselves. There's a strong focus on customization, with the studio aiming for a new standard in car customization, with deep customization options allowing players to create a true one-of-one car. The game is set to be released in the spring of 2027 for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. The designer of Forza Horizon 2, 3, and 4 and creative director of Forza Horizon 5 left Playground Games, founded his own studio, and spent 3 years building the racing game of his dreams. Clutch, it's that game. It's the Forza Horizon that Microsoft never dared to make, and next year, get ready to step on the gas. And that's it, guys. 2027 are going to change gaming forever. Some of these games we have waited decades for, some we didn't even know they existed, and some will blow our minds completely. Whatever happens, this is a special time to be a gamer. Don't take it for granted. Drop a like if you enjoy it, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos, and tell me in the comments which games are you most excited for. I'm Yugito, and I see you in the next video.